At my far left with Dr. Turner.
Good evening. My name is Michael Turner, and I currently serve as the Acting Associate Dean of the College for Residential Education and Director of Housing. And I have the opportunity and the privilege to support our students with their on-campus housing needs, as well as supporting them through their matriculation as it relates to their overall holistic development. And I do not work alone. I work with a wonderful team of colleagues who provide resources and support that will, at the end of the day, provide for successful outcomes and our students graduating in 4 years.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is DeMarcus Cruz. I am currently the Assistant Dean of the College for Retention Services. And I work with students primarily in their first year and helping them to solidify, I guess, their Morehouse experience. Today, I'll be speaking a little bit about PSEP, which is our Pre-Freshman Summer Enrichment Program, which is a summer bridge program for students who are interested and who have made the Morehouse decision.
Good evening. My name is Kevin Booker. I'm the Associate Dean of Student Life here at Morehouse College, also a proud member of the class of 1990, an alumnus. Tonight, I will be focusing on new student orientation, which is one of the many activities that comes out of the Department of Student Life. So my focus will be on new student orientation and student activities, which includes fraternity life, student orgs, student events, as well as homecoming. So any questions related to those matters?
Okay, we also have a Assistant Director, Antonio Williams. He is off camera and he will be vetting your questions as they come in this evening. If you would like to submit questions to us to answer online, please submit your questions to our admissions website, which is admissions plural at morehouse.edu. That's admissions at morehouse.edu. You can ask your questions and Antonio will be able to retrieve those questions and he will provide that information to the panel. All right, Antonio, do we have any questions that have come in?
Yes, so we have a few questions in regards to housing. So I'll have Mr. Turner answer those that I have. So the first one that I have is, are dorms assigned or do students have the capability of selecting their own?
So before I answer that question, I do want to share with all of the listeners, all of our incoming and prospective students, that we do not have dorms on our campus. We actually have residential houses because we focus more on just living. However, we also incorporate the learning, the extension of the classroom experience for our students. So just as a future reference for all of our incoming students, we refer to our housing buildings, our facilities, as residential houses. To answer the question, any students who apply for on-campus housing, they will be assigned their housing. They will be provided a housing assignment by the Department of Housing and Residential Education. The housing application by way of Tiger Den will be available for new incoming freshman first-time students as of Wednesday, May the 1st of this year. Do understand that if you pay your $588 on May 1st, you will not have access to the Tiger Den housing portal on May 1st. So I would encourage you to make that final decision and make that payment as soon as possible so that you have access to the application on May 1st. But yes, students will be assigned by a housing placement by the Department of Housing and Residential Education.
Okay, so another question that we have in regards to residential facilities housing. Do students have the option to room by themselves?
So students do not have the option to reside by themselves in single occupancy rooms, with the exception of instances where special accommodations are awarded by way of the Student Counseling and Disabilities Center, in which there must be medical documentation or physician documentation provided to Dr. Travis Sadler, who will then review the information and make a determination of eligibility for single occupancy housing. Aside from that particular instance, all students will reside with a roommate.
And I believe you have covered it, but it's come up again. Are freshmen required to live on campus?
Absolutely. Freshman first-year students are required to live on campus. In fact, we have a 3-year residential live-on requirement for all of our students, which means that for your first 3 years as a student of Morehouse College, you are required to live in one of the residential houses on the campus of Morehouse College.
Are there any exceptions to that?
Yes. So in the event that you, as a student, you decide, or there are circumstances that are preventing you from residing in on-campus housing, there is an exemption form that is available. It is an electronic form that is available for students to complete, and it will once it is completed, it will automatically be delivered to the mailboxes of housing and residential education. A couple of the criteria, just a couple of examples of the criteria, are that a student resides within a 25-mile radius of the campus with a parent or legal guardian. Again, student must reside within a 25-mile radius of the campus with a parent or legal guardian. That is one of the criteria to be considered for an exemption. Do note that the Department of Housing and Residential Education has the ability to review all information and will make a determination as to approval regarding such requests.
And Dr. Turner also received an email. They would like to know, are freshmen allowed to have vehicles?
So generally, not many freshmen have vehicles. However, there is a provision for freshman students to have a vehicle on campus, in which they must park in the parking garage and at the same time purchase a parking permit. That is going to be a case-by-case decision that each family is going to make as to the feasibility of students having a vehicle on campus. There are several factors that one might want to consider when making that decision, but at the end of the day, that is going to be at the discretion of each individual family.
As administrators, we highly recommend that students do not have cars their freshman year. Cars can be a distraction. Also, economically can cause a deficit based on repair and other things and basic maintenance for a vehicle. So we strongly encourage that freshman class students do not have cars.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me, I talked earlier extensively about the acceptance fee that's going to be due on the 1st. We have had several questions about individuals that have been trying to submit the acceptance fee online. And so it's, I want to kind of give a indication of what's happening in that process. All of the students should have been provided with their credentials in order to submit their acceptance fee through their banner web or their student portal. If you have not received those credentials, and we released several credentials today, and so they were sent to your Slate Admissions account or your personal email. We sent them to both locations. The academic credentials will allow you to set up your student account in order to submit your acceptance fee, submit your medical records, take care of a lot of tasks that must be completed before you are able to start to matriculate at Morehouse. At this point, since we are 1 week out until the deadline for submission of the acceptance fee, if you have not received those credentials, then you are able to email me. My email address is Darryl, D-A-R-R-Y-L, .isom, I-S-O-M, at morehouse.edu, or the admissions email address, which is admissions@morehouse.edu. And if you have submitted a FAFSA, meaning that if you have submitted the necessary documents to initiate your financial aid process, then you will be able to be assigned a Morehouse student number. It is referred to as an M number. All you would need will be that M number. You would not need your other credentials in order to submit your payment to Morehouse. We will ask you, as I indicated, since we have such a short time between now and the time that the acceptance fees are due, that you would just put that currency in the mail in the form of a check or money order. In the memo section of the check or money order, if you will put the M number that we will provide to you, just email me at those two, either at my personal email address or the admissions email address. Indicate that you need your Morehouse number, your name, of course, provide your full name, your date of birth, and we will obtain your Morehouse number if available, if you have submitted a FAFSA for your financial aid, and we'll provide that number to you so you'll be able to submit your acceptance fee online. I do apologize to those of you who have not received your credentials in order to set up your student account. We're working on getting those done as soon as possible. We're currently doing them on an ongoing basis. But for those of you that would like to commit, especially at the end of this presentation tonight, then please just put your money order or check in the mail and then submit your acceptance fee that way. Also, I will ask that you send me an email so I can know that that's coming. I can note your account. And so that if it comes in the mail after May 1st, then it will be notated that your acceptance fee was mailed.
So Darryl, we received a couple questions in regards to financial aid.
Okay.
For those who have not received their packaging yet, what can you tell them about that process or what they need to do next?
Okay, so financial aid, they're packaging students on an ongoing basis. I talked with the director of financial aid today, and she indicated that packages are being released on a daily basis, including today. For students that are wanting to wait until they receive their financial aid package before they are able to make a responsible decision or a decision that they can weigh the pros and cons of attending Morehouse as far as their financial situation, how it exists for each individual student, then the financial aid packages should definitely be to you by at least the 1st of May. If you do not have the financial aid packages by that time, I am able to provide you with an extension until you're able to get the packages, and you'll be able to make a decision as to if you would like to commit at that time. So once again, it's very important that you let us know that if you are wanting to pursue financial aid, if you have not had financial aid at this point, that you have all of the needed documentation to financial aid in order so that it will be able to build a package for you. You have to be able to submit your FAFSA to financial aid in order for them to build a package for you. That process goes pretty quickly after you submit the information. If you are chosen for verification, if there are things that need to be completed that you did not do initially when you apply for financial aid, then your financial aid, the student's financial aid advisor will reach out to them and try to obtain additional information. I've noticed this year what has held up a lot of students' financial aid is they did not register for the selectors for the military. And so if you are 18 years or older, then you have to register for selective service. And so if you do not do that, your financial aid will be held up, and that will be delayed in awarding you the financial aid package.
Next, we'll move on to Mr. Booker for campus life. So one of the questions that we do have is, when do students make their course selections?
Okay, I'm gonna defer and give that question to Mr. Cruz.
Okay.
Dean Cruz.
So the course selection is something that is controlled by our Academic Affairs division. Once a student, I'm Yeah, once a student, I guess, is confirmed as a student by paying their $588, the academic Office of Academic Advising and Retention Services will receive that list, and then they'll reach out to the student directly. Students will then have to complete a series of placement examinations. Once they complete their placement examination, they'll be placed inside of a queue in which they will receive some set of direction from their academic advisor about how they will be able to select their courses for fall 2019.
Thank you.
No worries.
We do have a couple of questions in regards to the PSET program for the summer program. One of the questions in particular is somebody's son is graduating June 13th, which is 10 days after the summer program starts. How can they go? Are they going to be able to participate? Will it be too late for them to proceed? What process do they need to follow?
So at this time, we're not able to allow students to check in on the 13th of June for their PCP experience. And just to provide a little context, PCP is a program that has students are enrolled in 3 classes for a maximum of 9 hours, in which they receive, I guess, Morehouse academic credit. And as such, we are required by both federal law and our accreditation agency to have so many contact hours. So students who are participatory in PCP will have to be here the first week of the program. What we have done in years past is students have come to the program and then left the program to attend their graduation ceremonies. If this is something that is interesting, something that is of interest to you, you can send an email message to psep@morehouse.edu, and someone will respond to you with how we can work that out. If you need someone to write a letter on your behalf to the guidance counselor, you can send that same inquiry to psep@morehouse.edu as well. Thank you.
Okay, Daryl, we've received quite a few questions and you just talked about it, so I'm gonna go back to you.
Okay.
It's in reference to students and their M numbers and them not receiving them yet. So what process do they need to follow in order to get them?
Well, as I indicated earlier, if you're a student and you have not received your M number, just first, we need to verify that you have submitted your FAFSA. Your FAFSA generates the M number. So as indicated, just send me an email to daryl.isom@morehouse.edu and indicate that you would like for me to provide you with your M number. And if you have fulfilled all the requirements to initiate financial aid, then I'll be able to provide you with your M number. Also, quickly, Antonio, I've received a few questions here concerning PSEP. But first I want to talk about the question that I can answer. They're wanting to know, students are wanting to know if there is any type of assistance for paying for the acceptance fee. The acceptance fee is, there's no assistance for paying for the acceptance fee. That is going to be the responsibility of the student and his family. What we can do, as I indicated earlier, I will be able to provide you with an extension. The soonest, so the farthest that I can extend payment of the acceptance fee will be until June 15th. But the extensions will only be granted if financial aid, if you're waiting on financial aid issues, or there's some issues that require or justify me extending the submission of the acceptance fee. It's just not done on just a request basis. It's just not a rationale for doing that. Also, students, you've indicated, can I use a scholarship for the payment of the acceptance fee? That can only be done if the scholarship states that you can use the scholarship for the payment of the acceptance fee, meaning that some scholarships say it's only for tuition, some scholarships say it's a book scholarship, some say for room and board, etc. If they don't stipulate any terms for the use of the scholarship, you need to reach out to the provider of the scholarship who awarded you those funds and just ask them if you're able to use that to be applied towards your acceptance fee. They normally will provide you something in writing saying that that's fine, and you can submit that to the college for payment of your acceptance fee. That will be the only other assistance that you can utilize for payment of the acceptance fee. And also, DeMarcus, I have an email. What is the cost for the pre-freshman summer enrichment program?
Yeah, so PSEP has a cost of $3,500, and that cost is due at the start of the program. We have a payment plan that basically states that families will have to pay $1,750 by May 31st, and then have a plan in place to pay the other $1,750 by the time of move in.
And what does the cost include?
So the cost is an all-inclusive cost. It includes the cost of tuition, room, board, and board is the meal plan, as well as any mandatory activities that we are participatory in.
And do the students receive college credit at the completion of the program?
Yes. So students who complete the program will receive 9 hours of college credit, unless they take Calculus 1, in which they'll receive 10 hours.
And can the student attend PSEP if they have not been recommended by admissions to attend?
Yes, they will have to send an email message to psep@morehouse.edu stating as such, and someone will respond to them with the application link.
All right, so we'll go to student activities, which is Mr. Booker. When will students be expected to be on campus? When is move-in day, and when do classes start?
Okay, so move-in day is Tuesday, August the 13th, and students will move in at varying times. When you pay your fee, you'll also receive at some point during the summer a move-in time. So we don't have everyone moving in at the same time. That would be a bit chaotic. There'll be different times in which you'll be assigned to move in, and different areas in which you'll have to report to move in. So we ask that parents and students read diligently in regards to how that will work. The directions are pretty clear, but over time, we've noticed that not all of our parents have read them carefully. So they may come at a different time than their assigned time, and that will delay their entry to campus. So please, when you do receive it, you'll have a form indicating what time you are to move in, and you to have all your financial matters taken care of prior to move-in. And the first day of class is Wednesday, August the 21st. Again, that's Wednesday, August 21st is the first day of class.
Now, we just received a question in regards to the band, asking how can students join the marching band, jazz band, or concert band?
Our band director is Chad Hughes. His email is chad.hughes, Hughes, @morehouse.edu. He leads the band, both the marching band, the jazz band, and the concert band. He provides tryouts, and during those tryout times, he identifies students that will receive scholarships. So he solely is the person responsible for that process. And again, if you are interested in trying out for band, please email Chad Hughes, band director at Morehouse College. Again, chad.hughes@morehouse.edu. And he also has an office phone number. That number is 404-215-2637.
All right, thank you. Daryl, we've received some questions about scholarships, work study, and things like that. Are you able to touch on a few of those questions you
Sure.
received?
So the college offers merit-based or academic scholarships. Those scholarships are awarded at the time of admissions. Then the award would have come with your acceptance letter. If you were not awarded a scholarship, a merit-based scholarship, at the time of admissions, and you would like to be considered for a scholarship, we do have a scholarship committee. You can just, once again, email me or the admissions web site or email address, admissions@morehouse.edu or daryl.isom@morehouse.edu. It indicates that you would like to be considered for merit-based aid. This year, we do not have a minimum GPA or minimum test scores for scholarships, but the student with a GPA of a 3.5 or higher, SAT 1170, or a 26 in the ACT, they have been most successful in being awarded merit-based aid this year. Second question, Darren?
About work study, like how can students apply and who they need with once they get on campus.
Okay, so work study is awarded with a student's financial aid package. If a student is eligible for work study, depending on your family contribution, which is determined when you submit your FAFSA, you will be able to be awarded work study. Wanda Smith in the financial aid office is in charge of our work study. Her information is on the website and on the financial aid website. Or of course, you can email me and I will forward any questions that you may have about work study to her, and she will be able to respond back to you. Of course, you would have to have your financial aid package complete, and all of the awards will need to be determined and assigned before she can verify if you are eligible for work study.
Okay, DeMarcus, we just received a question in regards to insurance, the pros and cons. Can you touch base on the parent insurance versus the student health plan?
Yeah, so the parent health insurance, so each parent will, I guess, their health insurance plan will be dependent upon their provider. But if a person has an HMO or they're on Medicaid, then we strongly encourage them to use our health insurance plan. Our health insurance plan is a PPO plan, which means that it's available anywhere. It also has some international coverages. The plan, I guess some cons of the plan is there's a $2,000 deductible. So I'm not certain of what each parent's personal insurance plan is. Also, if every service that is offered on our campus through our health center is covered through our Morehouse College health services fee or health services department. So there's no insurance plan required thereof. Students who have any questions about the student health plan should send an email message to S as in Sam, H as in Harold, and C as in Camp at morehouse.edu. That's SH.
The healthcare plan is a cost of $890, an additional cost of $893. Again, $800.
It is very important that all students complete an immunizations. That is a requirement for students to be able to first day of NSO as defined by Dean Booker. So there are a few steps involved. But one important consideration is Medicat. You must register for Medicat. That is a separate process than immunization records. You should not email the records and you should not hand deliver the record. That is for the safety and security of that confidential information. But the Medicat system is a well-built system that allows for the Student Health Services Center can review the information in a timely manner, and if there are any deficiencies in the information, advise you accordingly.
Also, to just clarify something I said earlier, the cost of the health insurance plan is optional. Only students in which it is required are students who families have a plan that does not cover the state of Georgia and/or have Medicaid, which is also a plan that does not cover the state of Georgia. If you would like to exempt from the health insurance, I guess, cost, you have to follow the exemption process that's outlined by the Student Health Center. For, I guess, additional questions, you should see SHC at morehouse.edu.
Again, it's very important that you exempt. There is a deadline, so please review that deadline online. And if you do have questions, refer to the SHC at morehouse.edu email address so that your question can be answered. But if you do not exempt from the health insurance, it will be an additional charge to your account. So you must do that by the appropriate deadline.
And Antonio, I've got an email. The students are saying that we've had a tremendous reply to this attendees on this call or this house call this evening, and apparently that they are not able to log in or to join us on the call. So we will post this event online, and so if you have any friends or family that's trying to log on to this event, let them know that we will post this event online so everyone will be able to view it at a later date. It's probably soon as tomorrow we will have it online. But thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. but we are, we have a lot online tonight, so, but we'll make sure that we post it.
Also, Daryl, since you're speaking, I had an email in regards to Tiger Pay not working. Is there a way to troubleshoot? Who they need to get in contact with?
Tiger Pay is that banner web that they're trying to submit a payment online?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and so I would need to know additional information about why it's not working.
Okay.
Are they getting an error message or what type of?
Yeah, it's just saying they're having an issue with signing on and it won't allow them to make a payment. There's nothing in depth or in detail about it.
Okay, and so once again, if you can just form me an email, I'll be able to see exactly what's going on with that. There should not be an issue with making an online payment, but I'll be glad to look up the student's account and make sure that everything is correct, and I'll be able to respond back to any students that are having difficulties making the payment online.
Are there any, in regards to like parents taking out loans, are there any payment plans that are available for the families?
Sure, the college via Student Financial Services, they have a payment plan that the parents and students are able to engage. If the parents or the student is interested in entering into a payment plan, you can reach out to Student Financial Services and they can give you the guidelines for that. Also, you can log on to their web page on the Morehouse website, morehouse.edu. Go to Student Financial Services, or in the search box, just simply type Student Financial Services, and it will outline very simplistic outline of the payment plans, what you need to do to engage those payment plans, the maximum amount of funds that can be included in the payment plan, etc. Also, I will be sending out this week the fee schedule for this upcoming academic year, where you would know the cost for attendance at Morehouse for the 2019-2020 academic year. And I'll send that out later this week. Also, I received an email about the cost increase for the cost of attendance that the board just approved. That increase was a 3% increase to the total cost of attendance. That breakdown will also be included on the fee schedule, and so you will be able to retrieve that information. Also, I had an email about, do fees go up every year? The fees are determined by the board, so they will vote on an increase in fees. We were flat, or we did not have increase in tuition and fees for about 3 years, for several years. So I cannot guarantee that the fees will remain the same, but that will occur each February, April, when the board meets to determine the fees for the next academic year.
Here, DeMarcus, we just received a question for the PSEP program. The question is, which courses do the 9 hours of college credit cover, and are these core classes or electives?
So the classes that are covered is an English course, a mathematics course, and a course entitled The History and Social Cultural of Morehouse College. The mathematics course is dependent upon the student's performance on the placement exam, and the English course is dependent upon the student's SAT/ACT scores. Those placements are made by our academic affairs office, and they determine, I guess, what credit hours you get from those courses. The math and English course are parts of the core curriculum that is required by the college. The history course is then like a free elective course, and all 3 courses will count towards graduation.
And could you please provide the email again for that PSEP program?
P as in Paul, S as in Sam, E as in elephant, P as in Paul, at morehouse.edu. That is PSEP@morehouse.edu.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Booker, we received like a general question as far as student activities and clubs. Once students get on the campus, how will they be able to join these? I know it's different rules and regulations for each one, but just give a general consensus.
Good question. First of all, freshmen are not permitted to start clubs or organizations, registered student organizations on campus. We do encourage membership, but we encourage it lightly. initial goal for all freshmen should be to get off to a solid academic foundation. But we do have a student org fair, which will take place somewhere at the beginning of the year, generally at the end of August, possibly early September after Labor Day, where students will have an opportunity to see the 66 plus student organization that the Department of Student Life and the college have to offer. So there's a wide variety of choices that a student can make, but we recommend for freshmen that they choose no more than 2 organizations to be a part of their first year. And that's it. We really want your focus to be on your academic performance and getting off to a solid academic foundation.
All right, thank you for that. Now, is what you just explained, is that also include a debate team in particular? They have to
Right,
wait
the
as well?
debate team, you can participate as a freshman. We also have a quiz bowl team that's called the Honda Campus All-Star Team. Actually just placed 4th nationally out in Los Angeles, California. So you can be a part of that as well. Debate and quiz bowl are some of the activities that require more of your time because you're preparing to compete. So if you're going to be a part of that as a freshman, it's recommended that that be the only extracurricular activity that you participate in. We really don't like for our first year students to load their schedules down with extracurricular activities because the rigor here is high. So we want you to do your best academically once again, but you are open to participate in all activities that we have as far as registered student organizations are concerned. Fraternity life is another matter. We have 6 fraternities on campus currently, and in order to be a member of those organizations, you need to have at least a 3.0 grade point average and be classified as a sophomore student at Morehouse College, meaning you have upwards to 30 credit hours or more here at the institution. So fraternity life, you can't become a part of until your sophomore year.
And Mr. Booker, I've also had an email, if a student wants to walk on and be a student athlete, is that possible, and are they awarded scholarship?
Yes, walk-ons are absolutely acceptable. We have walk-ons every year. Different sports have different time periods. Of course, football is what we open up the academic year with sports-wise, football and cross-country, and we do permit walk-on athletes. There is no financial aid provided to a walk-on athlete if they make the team, but if they perform at a high level and there are scholarships available, the next academic year, I'm sure the coaches will consider those walk-on athletes for those opportunities, but there are no additional scholarships offered to walk-on athletes.
Mr. Booker, we just had a question come in asking, is it advised that the gentleman take 15 hours per semester?
Yes, 15 hours mathematically results in a 4-year graduation rate, and we would like that persistence towards graduation to be accurate, and we want you to finish in a 4-year period. But there are times where students may add more to their course load, but we recommend that your first year is no more than 15, at least your first semester. But we do have situations where students can take upwards to 18 plus credit hours, but it's not recommended. We have counselors, academic counselors that will help you successfully schedule your courses for your first year experience. And we ask that you listen to your counselors throughout your matriculations, because sometimes when students put that in their own hands, it doesn't work out the way that they plan.
Another question for you, Mr. Booker. In regards to an incoming freshman, what's the process if they come in with one declared major and then they want to change it? And are they allowed to change it?
Right. Changing majors happens. Students could come in undecided. They don't have to select a major immediately. It's recommended that you do select a major by second semester at least of your freshman year, but it's okay to change your major. But be smart about it. If you are a student that knows ahead of time that you do not really care for mathematics or critical thinking and study, STEM may not be an avenue for you because quite a bit of critical thinking, mathematics, and applied theory exists in that area of study. If you think you enjoy reading or history more, consider the humanities. It's best to study something that you have a great interest in. You'll be more likely to study and learn more about that without being pushed or probed to do so. So as you begin to think and consider your major, please make sure that it's something that you believe you're passionate about. Passion leads to better success than those students that have no passion at all. So you don't have to choose your major immediately. There are general studies that you have to complete initially. It's a liberal arts college, so we want you to be well balanced, but you should be thinking about a major moving into your sophomore year. But you don't have to declare coming into Morehouse.
All righty, thank you for that.
So Antonio, also I have two questions here.
Okay.
A parent is asking, his son was admitted to the honors college. Do all honors program students receive a scholarship, merit-based scholarship? They do not necessarily receive merit-based scholarships. If the student was not awarded a scholarship and would like to be considered for a scholarship, as I indicated, you can email me and I will be glad to refer that to the scholarship committee for scholarship consideration. But not all honors students that are in the honors program are automatically awarded a scholarship. Also, I have a question about for merit-based scholarships, are they renewable? Merit-based scholarships are the only scholarships that Morehouse offers are renewable scholarships, meaning that as long as you maintain a acceptable GPA for maintaining your scholarships and enroll in the correct number of hours or the number of hours needed, which will be 30 hours per academic year, then you'll be able to renew your scholarship, or your scholarship will automatically be renewed for the next year. Also, we talked a lot about scholarships that have been awarded from either admissions or from the scholarship committee, the college. You do not have to apply for these scholarships. For admissions, obviously, we will automatically review everyone that is accepted to the college for a scholarship. And so you do not have to actually apply. There is no application for applying for scholarships to the college.
And that approved GPA, Mr. Ison, will be a 3.0, correct?
So the new scholarship policy would be for freshman year, which is very liberal. Morehouse is a very liberal scholarship policy. It's a 2.8. Okay. And so after the freshman year, then you would need to maintain the 3.0 in order to maintain your scholarship.
Another question that came in, Daryl, as far as transfer students, their credits, like how is it determined what credits are going to count? And if they're transferring as a junior, how does that process take place and how does all that work?
Okay, well, it doesn't matter what classification you are when you transfer into Morehouse. A transfer evaluation will be completed on you, meaning that we will look at all the courses that you have taken as you matriculated at your previous college. The courses will be reviewed and see if they fit into your pursuit of your degree here at Morehouse. The courses that typically that we are able to accept as being applied to your degree, they will become electives. Then we will try to utilize them in the form of an elective. And so I cannot guarantee how many courses or how many hours will be accepted. I cannot guarantee what courses will be accepted, but we will do a transfer evaluation and your courses will be reviewed so that we can accept the maximum amount of courses for your matriculation here at Morehouse.
And Daryl, can you just go over the requirements for a merit-based scholarship one more time, please?
Sure. So as I indicated, there is not a minimum requirement for a merit-based scholarship. The numbers I gave earlier were the students that have been successful in being awarded scholarships this year. And that has been 1170 on the SAT, a 26 or higher on the ACT, with a GPA of 3.5, 3.6 or higher.
Mr. Turner, we just received a question in regards to honors residential housing. They wanted to know, is there honors residential housing? And if so, do they apply on May 1st? When's the deadline, or when do they start applying for it?
So all students, regardless of any programmatic affiliations, will be able to apply as of May 1st, pending the submission and payment of the acceptance fee. As I stated earlier, if you wait to pay your acceptance fee on May 1st, you will not have access to the housing application on May 1st. As it relates to specialized or specific housing for the honors program, there is designated housing made available for members of the honors program. And over the course of the summer and throughout the process of housing and residential education making assignments, we will certainly relay that information accordingly and in conjunction with the honors program.
All right, also, as far as roommate selection, just say gentleman, an incoming freshman, has a friend who is coming. Can they name them specifically to be their roommate, or is it still just random selection?
We do have the capability of making specific roommate assignments. However, generally, students who are first coming to the college may not have an idea as to with whom they would like to reside. We have a roommate matching capability through the housing application. And so a quick disclaimer, it's very important that the students, the actual students, and I understand that parents and guardians want to help and support in completing that application, but it is very important that the students actually complete the housing application. There are specific questions pertaining to the students that we want answered honestly and very frankly by the students so that we can appropriately match our student roommates as needed. So there is a capability for matching, and we also have the capability for assigning specific roommates.
Thank you.
If I can add one quick element as it relates to not housing directly but indirectly, all students are required to have a meal plan. All students are required to purchase the unlimited meal plan. So it is very important that you are mindful of that. And as you go about the process of budgeting for the upcoming academic year, please keep that in mind. Again, all incoming students who reside in on-campus housing will be required to purchase the unlimited meal plan. There is no exception to that rule.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you.
Daryl, we have a question in regards to scholarships again. A parent wanted to know, or a student wanted to know, what is the likelihood of students acquiring funding or additional funding following their first year?
Okay, that's an excellent question. And so I like to say that once the student starts to matriculate at Morehouse, establish a strong GPA, becomes involved, etc., there's a lot of funding that's available either in the division or where they can go and inquire as to what scholarships are available in their major. There's a lot of funding that's available. The most important thing would be to, of course, attend Morehouse, first of all, start at Morehouse, and then basically prove yourself. Everyone likes to invest in someone that is committed to their studies, and they are willing to do so to keep you here at Morehouse and make it possible for you to remain here at Morehouse. So it's very possible for you to receive scholarship dollars after you begin to matriculate on our campus.
As it relates to scholarships, I want to encourage students to create a profile on the United Negro College Fund website. There are several scholarships that are available on a daily basis to apply for. Right now, there's a Foot Locker scholarship available on the UNCF website. If you look for it, it's out there. The deadline is May 1st. So you really need to get those applications in. I also encourage students to connect with local organizations in your community. Fraternities and sororities are gifting scholarships over the next few months. These are small scholarships, but great opportunities to receive funding for your books and other resources you'll need for school. In addition, churches and other community-based organizations that issue scholarships. And don't stop there. I would even talk to folks that manage some of the stores that you may shop in, places you like to go to. If you share with them that you've been accepted to Morehouse, you're looking to help fund your cause, you never know who will be there that might be willing to assist and help. So it's a matter of going out and exposing yourself and seeing what's available to you.
In addition to all the excellent information that my colleagues have shared, I would encourage all students to keep in mind that the search for scholarships and financial resources to pay for your collegiate experience, that search, that process should never end. That should be an ongoing, continuous process starting before you even arrive and going up until you graduate. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any incoming emails there?
Okay, so a lot of emails about the acceptance fee. So let me just go over that again, the importance of submission of the acceptance fee. In order for us to, or for you to give Morehouse the indication that you will be attending Morehouse, we need for you to let us know by submitting your acceptance fee and confirming your seat in the class. The acceptance fee, the question is, what is the purpose of the acceptance fee? The acceptance fee is to basically reserve your seat in the class. And so by submission of that fee, your seat is secure in the class, and you'll be able to start to matriculate in August.
Daryl, do we offer any type of book grants?
No, we can offer book grants, but and I'll ask Dr. Turner to address this further, but I believe that the 100 level books, which would be freshman year, they're included in the cost of attendance. Is that still the situation, Dr. Turner?
To my knowledge, that program will continue. It currently exists. 100 level courses are included and billed to the student's student account. So to my knowledge, that program will continue and carry forward.
And so that's the only thing closest to a grant that we would have, and that's just for freshman year only.
Okay, I'm not for sure who this question will go to, so I'm going to ask it, and then whoever wants to tackle it, just speak up. It said, are honor students in honor program barred from sports or certain clubs? And are these students placed in a particular residential home?
So yeah, there is no barring from being participatory in anything on our campus by being a member of the honors program. And we are working with the honors program to work on housing options for the students who are in part of the income honors class. And I don't remember the last part of the question.
So was there any particular residential housing for honors program students?
That was the answer there.
Okay. Okay, there's another question. It's asking that they notice that there's a program where students can attend Stanford or another partnership school for a year. They want to know how exactly does this work and what year is this available to students?
Okay, so you're referring to the domestic exchange program. It is a program where the Morehouse students actually trade places, basically, or exchange places with students at 14 partner schools. They consist of Dartmouth, Stanford, UC Davis, NYU, etc. That information is on the website. Also, if you go to morehouse.edu, in the search box, just type in domestic exchange, and that will give you all of the schools that are partners with Morehouse that you can exchange at. But you can, typically our students will exchange for a semester, not an academic year. Those courses will have to be approved by your department and your division before you exchange. And most divisions will only allow you to exchange for a semester. But our students, we typically, this year we had 50 students that are exchanging. As I indicated, NYU, Stanford, some of the top institutions in the country. This is very pivotal for students that we admit to Morehouse. They are often admitted to these schools that you can exchange at, and they're also admitted to Morehouse. So they have the decision. They want to come to Morehouse. They want to experience what we have to offer here, the experience of Morehouse, but they also understand that they can obtain some benefit of attending those other schools that I indicated earlier. At Morehouse, a benefit, the beauty of coming to Morehouse, one beauty, benefit of coming to Morehouse is that you can experience both the Morehouse experience and those other schools and still obtain a Morehouse degree. So that's a very powerful benefit that we offer here at Morehouse.
And over the years, I've had the opportunity to work with many of those students that exchanged from other institutions to Morehouse, and it's amazing. They never want to leave. So Morehouse is a very special place, and they take a piece of that with them when they do leave. We have 2 students currently from NYU, and they talk about how much they wish they chose Morehouse.
Mr. Booker, I have a question in regards to new student orientation. They wanted a brief overview of the Morehouse dress code.
Yes.
Also, how many, suits or blazers and dress pants, just an overview, like how much do they need for that?
It's an excellent question. During the NSO experience, you will be required to wear shirt and tie every day. Our NSO experience is 7 days. Again, it starts Tuesday, August the 13th, and goes all the way to the first day of class. You're not required to wear a shirt and tie every day then, but during the orientation experience, you are. Roughly, we do provide a dress, not policy per se, but what we recommend that you have. So somewhere between 3 to 4 dress shirts, a selection of ties, about 3 to 4 pair of slacks, 1 or 2 suits are recommended, but somewhere in that area. So over the summer, you will receive items that we suggest you bring. If clothing is a challenge for you, we have something on campus provided by our Parents Association called the Renaissance Room. And the Renaissance Room is a closet of lightly, gently worn clothing, as well as some new clothing that may meet your needs if you are a student that may have some challenges getting said items that may be needed for your new collegiate experience. So we do have the Renaissance Room available. But again, as far as clothing is concerned, we will provide you with a detailed outline of what we think you should bring to college.
I just received an email in regards to film students. So it said, please address the options for freshman film students and their recourse if not admitted to CTEMs their sophomore year.
Okay, so what is their recourse? Okay, so our Cinema, Television, and Emerging Media Studies program is quite a competitive program. It's one of our more recent and added academic programs on campus, and it's quite rigorous to get into. So students should have a body of work which they've been working on, but I would also encourage them to speak with the staff from CTEM's program. That department's run by Dr. Stephanie Dunn, and she can receive email at stephanie.dunn@morehouse.edu. Stephanie is spelled STEPHANE, but I refer you to the website. Avery Williams is a professor on the staff, as well as Adisa Iowa. Those emails can be found on the website. And I would encourage whatever students that are considering pursuing CTEMs to do your research and finding out what it takes to get in. They do want the most serious students that are going to be diligent in the program and complete their assignments and work. So it helps when you have an idea of what to expect prior to applying to become a CTEMS major.
Alrighty, thank you for answering that. Now we do have a question in regards to like the safety of the residential housing, as far as any issues regarding theft or things like that. Like they want to know how secure is the campus, or and have there been any recent issues, and how are they handled? So,
So as it relates to safety on the campus, and in particular within the residential houses, we work very closely with the Morehouse College Police Department, which is led by Chief Valerie S. Dalton. And in working with the department, we are diligent to put in place practices that are going to support the safety and well-being of the residential students and the staff and guests that enter the spaces. One of the most important elements that we encourage our students to always think about all day, every day, is self-awareness, being aware of your surroundings, being aware of who is in your space, being aware of what activities are going on, so that if there's activity of concern, then you are in a position to report it immediately, such that there can be an appropriate response.
We are in a major metropolitan city. Incidents do occur. So we ask our students to be aware, as Dr. Turner indicated, and have some good practices about themselves. Countless days I see students wearing headphones or other devices, being distracted by other devices that may deter their awareness. So again, if this is something you practice at home, I strongly advise that you change that practice, because here it can affect you in a negative way. So we want you to always be aware. Stay on the safe paths. Our library is not far away from our campus, but if you don't walk the path that we direct you to walk on, you open yourself up to possibilities of things occurring that we wouldn't want to occur. So the area that we are in is policed by the Atlanta Police Department, as well as the Atlanta University Center. Schools, each school has their own independent public safety office, which has all the rights of policing that any other police department has in the city and surrounding area. But again, it's about awareness. And for those students that come from inner city neighborhoods like Chicago, New York City, so on and so forth, this is not your hood. So don't come to Atlanta thinking you understand Atlanta and that it's like home for you. This is someone else's. So you need to be aware of your surroundings, learn your surroundings quickly, talk to those that are your upperclassmen brothers about safety and things that you can do to enhance your situation. And we will do our part administratively to express how we would like for you to conduct yourselves in a safe way. And as far as housing is concerned, most of the times in which incidents occur where students' items are stolen is when they leave their doors open. So we strongly encourage you to lock your doors at all times, to not permit students who do not live in your building inside your building, regardless if they're Morehouse students or not, just to have solid safety practices that common sense should provide, but we're going to make sure that we ensure that we teach you some quality safety tips to help you along your way.
Mr. Booker, we have a question in regards to an activity for freshmen. They want to know, will there be opportunities for them to sign up for oratory forums?
Okay, we will have an oratorical contest. We have it every year. It takes place during the spring semester. It's called the Otis Moss Jr., Otis Moss III Oratorical Contest. It's been in existence now for over 30 years, 30 plus years. Otis Moss Jr. as well as Otis Moss III are prominent pastors in the country, and also Morehouse alumnus. Both have been, or serve on our board of trustees. One is emeritus, that being Otis Moss Jr. So this oratorical contest allows upwards to 7 to 8 students to compete in different forms of oratory. And it's ran by Dr. Leah Criquet. I've served as one of the judges, as well as Mr. Cruz. And it takes place during our Crown Forum program, which is basically a school-wide assembly again in the spring semester. So we encourage oratory here. You will see it at its best and highest level during NSO week, performed by our students. And we encourage you that those of you that are interested to get involved, we'd love to have you.
Antonio, quickly, so I've received emails indicating that they would like to hear from a current student and alum's perspective. I want to let you know we have you covered. So we have 2 individuals that will come up. We'll swap out in a little bit. I'll give my seat to a student, and we'll have an assistant director who's a new alum, and we'll talk to him about the outcome piece, and the current student about their matriculation here at Morehouse. So we'll be able to address those issues in just a second.
Mr. Turner, I do have a quick question. Can you discuss the residential assistance program and whether incoming freshmen are eligible?
Absolutely. So the position of residential advisor is one of the forefront leadership positions on the campus, alongside many of the other outstanding positions that exist. First year students, unfortunately, are not eligible to assume the position as a first year student. However, the application process generally begins in October of each year. So as a freshman, you will have the opportunity to participate in the selection and recruitment process. And if selected, you would assume the position as a second year or sophomore student. So you will not assume the active position as a first year student, but you have the opportunity to apply during that time frame for assuming the position as a sophomore student. I strongly encourage you to consider the position of resident advisor. It is a phenomenal role that provides a great leadership opportunity to support your fellow students on the campus, both residential and non-residential students. And so thank you for that question. And we look forward to providing you, there will be marketing materials upon your arrival and at the start of the first semester, so that you are aware of the process for applying to the position. Thank you.
Dare, I have a quick question in regards to FAFSA and financial aid. They want, a prospective student wants to know how long will it take their FAFSA verification form to be reviewed by us?
A student is in verification, or would just for their initial financial aid?
The question just says, how long will it take for my FAFSA verification form to be reviewed by you guys?
Okay, and so initially, as I indicated, the financial aid packages are being built. I think that's what he's referring to. They're being built on a rolling basis, meaning that as soon as we receive all of your FAFSA information, which basically the federal government tells Morehouse what your family can contribute to your education here at Morehouse. Then it's typically about another 2 weeks in order to get that. As I indicated earlier, what will extend that process will be if you are selected for verification, meaning that additional information you would have to supply or verify some items on your financial aid application that need to be verified. Select a service, things of that nature. But typically, the process runs really quickly, especially now that we're right at the deadline for incoming freshmen. We understand financial aid issues is a very crucial element in deciding if you like to attend Morehouse. And so we're doing what we can to expedite the process.
Mr. Booker, I have a question for you in regards to new student orientation from the parent's perspective. A parent wants to know what can they expect from it, and also are they required to stay the full 3 days?
It's recommended that you stay the full 3 days. It's a very exciting period in time. from the first day all the way through to Thursday, I'm sorry, when we're asking you to park. It's fun-filled and informational. So we strongly encourage parents to attend. The schedule is in draft mode now, but we will have it out to you all momentarily so you can see all the activities that we have planned. But our new student orientation activities are one of our signature events that take place here on our campus. So I strongly recommend that you attend. So Monday night, we open up with Welcome to the House, which is a student production and explains why young men have chosen Morehouse. And it gives parents an array of opportunity to see young men at their best that are here matriculating at the college as upperclassmen. Tuesday night, we have an opportunity for parents to engage in learning more about the history of the college. And then, of course, Thursday night, we close out with the parents' parting ceremony, which will allow you to experience a time that will be quite memorable with your sons as they move from being a possession of yours to a possession of Morehouse. So we encourage them.
And turning also quickly, I have questions concerning the dual engineering program.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a very stellar program here at Morehouse. It is a program where students are able to obtain 2 degrees in 5 years. You will complete your entire undergraduate degree in 3 years from Morehouse. Typically, students major in physics. That's the major, or that's the most popular major when they're engaging in a dual engineering program. And then the last 2 years will be at a top engineering school. Those schools are partner schools, are listed on the website also. If you go to the website, just in the search box, type in dual engineering, all the schools will be listed there. The last 2 years at the engineering school in the specialty of your choice in engineering. And then at the end of the 5 years, you receive a degree from Morehouse and a degree from the engineering school. It's a very popular program, makes the students very marketable in whatever field of engineering they choose to engage in. And it's a very popular major at Morehouse. Most of our students do attend Georgia Tech. It's a outstanding engineering school. It's only approximately 5 miles from our campus. And they will honor, if you are on scholarship at Morehouse, they will honor the scholarship at Georgia Tech as long as you maintain the GPA, of course. But that's the most popular partnership school that Morehouse has to do engineering.
A quick question for you, Daryl, or Mr. Booker. This is in relation to new student orientation, but the parents want to know, have we partnered up with any hotels to receive like discounts for them, for the parents?
So we have discounts at 2 hotels, possibly 3. The 2 that I know definitely exist is the Hyatt Regency. We also have discounts at the Hilton, Atlanta. These are all Atlanta-based hotels, as well as, what's the third? Located on Peachtree. I might need you guys to. No, it's not the Marquee. This one is on I'll come back to you in a moment. It'll come to me. But yes, we do definitely have discounts at the Hyatt as well as the Hilton.
Are the discounted rooms, are they open for booking yet?
Yes, they are discounted rooms. What I would suggest, whoever the parent is or parents, email me at kevin.booker@morehouse.edu, and I will provide you all with the information. We will also put the information on the website. So again, kevin.booker@morehouse.edu.
And could you just reiterate?
The Ritz-Carlton is the other.
And
I don't know what the rates are currently, but I will be able to let you know once we contact the hotels and find out what the discounted rate is.
Could you just reiterate one more time the dates for the orientation, please?
The dates for orientation for parents, the 13th through the 15th. So that would be Tuesday, August 13th through Thursday, August 15th.
Okay, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Antonio, so what I would like to do at this time, I'm going to swap out and let our current student who is matriculating at Morehouse, I'll let him have my seat. And we'll also have Kip Darden. Well, he's a assistant director of admissions. He is a recent alum. And so bring them in to kind of share their experiences. As I indicated, I have tons of emails from students wanting to know what it's like to be a man of Morehouse. And so they both will be able to address that. All right, so as I indicated, we have two students here that will be able to address what you can expect, students can expect as they matriculate in Morehouse. So I will allow them to introduce themselves, what year they graduated, their current student, et cetera, the major. I'll just kind of give you a little biographical information about them. And we'll start with Kip.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kip Darden. I am one of the assistant directors of admissions and recruitment here at the school. I'm also the class of 2016, so not too far removed from this process. Still remember being on campus as a student and beforehand as well. So given those facts, I'll be happy to field any questions related to what it's like to be a student, as Wendell will be doing as well, but also what the experience is like being an alum fresh out and what that process is like as well. So Wendell introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Wendell Shelley Wallace. I'm a senior political science major, hailing from Houma, Louisiana. I have a privilege of serving as the Student Government Association Vice President, as well as host brother coordinator for the Student Ambassadors team here at the college. Actually transferred into Morehouse just last year.
Okay, Kip, the first question is for you. Could you give an indication of, since you've graduated from Morehouse, what the outcome is like? What opportunities have been afforded to you, and how you feel Morehouse has played a part in that?
Definitely. Morehouse prepares you in many ways to get you ready for the industry and for graduate school. When you're a student here coming, you need to be prepared to be recruited heavily from graduate programs, whether that is in the humanities or in the mathematics and science departments. I was recruited from the University of Michigan and attended their urban planning program, and a 2-year program, and finished in those 2 years and was very well prepared. That program would not have come across my plate had I not been at Morehouse and not had active recruiters physically come into the department and recruit in the classroom. You will get recruited heavily and you will be receiving funding for those graduate programs. Morehouse is a top feeder school for many different programs, graduate school, law school, and medical school. So this is definitely a place to come if you are considering secondary education, especially with pursuing programs considering doctoral programs as well. After Morehouse, after I graduated, I was quickly introduced into the Morehouse Alumni Association, which is an incredible association that is in every major city and offers a network of men that is dedicated to uplift each other in ways professionally and academically as well, given the fact that there are lots of Morehouse grads in academic positions. With that being said, a lot of recruitment for those graduate programs is heavily coming from Morehouse graduates in those high-level positions. So after coming out of Morehouse, you quickly realize how important it is to be in a brotherhood that is lifelong and to lean on that brotherhood for professional and academic opportunities.
Okay, and Wendell, the question is, why did you choose Morehouse over other institutions?
So as I shared, I didn't start off at Morehouse. I was originally accepted into Morehouse after graduating from high school, and was on my way to come here. Unfortunately, my father was ill and then passed away my first year while I was at LSU. Choosing Morehouse to transfer into was an easy decision for me. I took all the time that Morehouse has one mission, and they've been fulfilling that mission for 152 years. And that's the development with disciplined minds with lives of leadership and service. But particularly for me as a man of color, this is one of the only places in the world where I feel like this is home. And I say that because this is a place where I'm allowed to just be my true and authentic self. It's also a place where I'm challenged to become the best version of myself, and I'm supported by everybody believing in me.
I had a question. Did you, for both you and Alvin, did you guys have any reservations before selecting Morehouse? What were they and what changed your mind?
So my number one reservation, again, when I came here and toured before transferring, I felt like this at home. The only reservation I had, I've grown up in predominantly white environments most of my life. And so for me, choosing a school that number one is predominantly Black was scary. The idea that I never really been exposed to it. But what I can say is that since coming in, I've realized that the group of people that I share my home with are probably the most diverse group of people on the planet. We're sharing, some of the folks earlier were sharing with you that we have international students who do some domestic exchange as well. But I'm a part of a campus of 2,174 other people who are from all over the place, right? And they have different backgrounds and they have a lot to bring to the table. So that exposure is something that I'm more excited about. The other thing that alleviated that concern is that besides the diversity, this is a more inclusive space for me. This is a place where I really feel like everybody is family. So my initial reservations were immediately taken care of when I came in the door.
To piggyback up on that, could you give an indication of the brotherhood? What does the brotherhood mean as an alum and as a current student?
Definitely, from that alum standpoint, that network that exists is one of the strongest networks out there. Here, Morehouse, when you're indoctrinated into the brotherhood, you quickly realize that everyone on this campus is here to uplift you as well. When you come in, there's just saying that you have your brother's back, and we really take that seriously here. That brotherhood is definitely instilled primarily in that 4 years experience, but I feel that it definitely transcends to that alumni experience as well. Being a University of Michigan student, I was active in the Detroit Alumni Association, and now that I'm back in Atlanta, I am a member of the Atlanta Alumni Association. With those two associations, there are a terrific group of men that do all that they can to provide whatever resources they might have to each other. That brotherhood gets very much stronger in that alumni association, but it's definitely still instilled in that 4 years, especially in that first year experience. Some of our panelists definitely touched on that earlier, but I definitely want to highlight how pivotal that first year experience is, and definitely be from wherever you are coming from, getting here for the first time, living with a group of men for the first time. There are lots of challenges that you will endure together. And primarily coming from a freshman experience where you're leaving home for the first time, this is something that you will very much lean upon. Some of my best friends here that I have to this day are people that I met my freshman year in that freshman residence house. My roommate to this day is my roommate from college. So it kind of just shows you how that brotherhood carries on to after graduation.
I'll say for me, the brotherhood is great, but the family environment, and I keep harping on that, is really what makes this place home. My brothers really have my back, and I've never had a group of people who have advocated for me equally as much as they've held me accountable. And what I mean by that, there'll be days that like I don't feel like doing something that I know I really should do, i.e. going to class. And my brothers will be the motivating force to be like, Wendell, you need to get up and go to class. Or, yo, we really have to work on this project. But even more than that, for me, it's this family environment that I'm in that I keep stressing I didn't have before. So the idea of being surrounded by my siblings, both here at Morehouse, Spelman, Clark, Atlanta, Morris Brown, and the other institutions of the area, But the people that I pass by every day, I jokingly say, like, I have a new family of aunties and uncles, and mothers and fathers, because everybody's looking out for you, everybody's taking care of you, and everybody's also holding you accountable.
Also, kind of piggyback upon that, how does it feel to be in an academic environment where you are with African American males, as intelligent as you are? How does that differ from high school?
So I would say, and we jokingly, not jokingly, but we say this when you first come in, you're like, every single person that you're surrounded with, like in high school, they've been the best, right? So you're like the most likely to succeed. Academically, you'll be in here with a lot of valedictorians, and things of that sort. But for me, it's exciting. It's definitely a pride check for me, right? So like, I've been used to being especially like being in a predominantly white environment, like I've been used to being that articulate Black kid in the classroom who outperformed everyone, and it was like a surprise to the room. But like, you come into an environment where like everybody's intelligent, everyone academically is for the most part, everyone's doing well, and everybody like really brings something to the conversation, to the tables of dialogue. And it checks you, right? Like, so I'm no longer the smartest person in the room, but now I have people that like I feel like I can fully relate to, have a conversation with, learn from, more importantly, right? The biggest thing that I have learned while being here is that I'm in a world of people that I have so much to learn from, right? And that's a good thing. Like, for me, that's really encouraging. And it's encouraging for me for like our future as a people.
I think that was said very well.
Can either of you touch base on the business program? Were you part of it, or do you know anybody that you're close to that has anything to say about it? Because a parent wants to know like the prestige or how the business program is.
So I can tell you that our school is the #1 feeder school for the Harvard School of Business for Black men. But I can tell you, like, more personally, one of my really good friends is actually the president of the ambassadors team and also the chief justice of the Student Government Association, is a business marketing major. So our business program has 4 concentrations. You have accounting, marketing, management, and finance. But under the business administration economics division, of course, we also have economics as well. But the program, of course, is one of the most prestigious programs. I always feel like if I wouldn't be a political science major here at Morehouse, I probably would be a business marketing major. All of us, pretty much every academic program touches the business administration department at some point. So it's inevitable that you'll take a course from there. And the majority of the people who come to the college are actually in business administration if they're not in the STEM field. Or in political science. So it's definitely one of our strongest programs. I will also say that there's a lot of opportunities that come with being a part of that program. So Julian will be working for Procter & Gamble. I know a bunch of guys who are working for other places like Microsoft, Google, Goldman Sachs, things of that sort, or places of that sort. There are more opportunities. I was just speaking with an admitted student today. There are more opportunities for students than there are actually students. So you'll have a good problem as a business administration major, in that you'll have a lot to choose from.
Great. Just to touch on that, Daryl, just from an alum standpoint, the network really kind of upholds that business program, given the fact that a lot of those professionals come back and not only speak, but provide opportunities to those students and currently enrolled. I think that really keeps the strength of the program high. Given the fact that it is kind of a cycle. Once you come out, you do give back once you leave. And given that there are many Morehouse men that work for some of the same companies, given the fact that they were introduced by a Morehouse man.
And also, I can answer this question. We often get this question and by the way, these are outstanding questions that you guys are asking tonight. It shows implies to me that you've done some research on Morehouse and that these are questions that you would like to know based on the research that you've done. But this question is, tell us about the girls that mature that come to Morehouse. That actually will come to Morehouse, but Morehouse is an all-male enrollment. We're not an all-male environment. I mean, we have our sister school, which is Spelman. Beautiful young ladies are right next door to us. You, as a student at Morehouse, will take classes at Spelman. Spelman young ladies take classes at Morehouse. Also, we have Parkland University, which is a co-ed school, which is literally steps from our campus. And so I do not want you to think that if you come to Morehouse, because we're all male enrollment, that you will never see another female for 4 years. That is not the case. You will not even feel as if you are at a single-sex institution in terms of how we are integrated in terms of gender in the Atlanta University Center.
Well, now I have a question. Sure. I have a question specifically for you. The parent wants to know, can you tell us about the curriculum and the rigor of the political science program and what you and some of your other classmates plan to do with it? So
we are the number one field regarding like students who are in humanities and social sciences. The rigor of the program is a lot more than I thought it was coming in. It was definitely a wake-up call. Our professors in the political science program are the best and the brightest of their field, and I don't say that lightly. All of them have specialties. So, you know, political science is broken down into 4 different sections. So we have our national government side of things, comparative politics, international relations, and so on and so forth. But all of them specialize in one area or another. There's a lot of writing involved in our political science program, so that's definitely a large component of it. And the bigger portion of our political science program is it's geared around political research. And so when most of the time people hear political science, they think of the political side of things, but they don't think of the science side of things. So during your second year, you'll take a course called Scope and Methods, which is basically around how to research, how to analyze political data. And then during your senior year, you have senior seminar, which is around writing your thesis for political science, which you'll have to defend before the chair. As far as like what we plan to do after, it's very diverse. So some of us, like myself, want to go into the education side of things, and you'll have a lot of people who actually want to go into the pre-law side of things. But while I'm talking about the pre-law program, political science isn't the only major that we include inside of the pre-law that is inside of the pre-law program. But a lot of us, most of us for the majority, are political science majors. Another common field is for us to go into the business side of things. So a lot of us are either poli-sci, economics double majors, or political science, business administration double majors. But yeah, we're pretty vast out in as far as like what we plan to do after we leave from here.
Yeah, and also when I was a student here at Morehouse, my major was political science pre-law. Actually, I didn't go to law school. I went to business school. Yeah. And so I obtained a MBA from Emory. And so you can do a lot of different things. What I learned and appreciated about being a political science major is I was taught to become an analytical thinker, where I can take a situation and solve the problem based on the information that I was provided. So I appreciated that. So I could have went anywhere from Morehouse with any degree I could have gotten from Morehouse. I like to say you can get anywhere from here. And so no matter what you like to do, we are a liberal arts school. So even though that you start with one degree or declare one degree, you can always change, and you still have the flexibility of doing that and still graduate on time. Typically those courses that you took in pursuit of one degree, they will become your electives if you choose another degree. And so you're able to have flexibility in terms of your curriculum in graduating in 4 years. That's a very important thing, and I'll have Kip to talk about this. How important is it that you come in, you be focused, you graduate in 4 years, know that is your goal. A lot of students may come in and say, well, you know, they have a great time at Morehouse, they want to stay at Morehouse, they didn't want to leave Morehouse. I fell into that same situation, but my parents were like, you have 4 years to do this thing. And so how important was that when you were here, that you were able to graduate in 4 years?
Definitely. So we are a 4-year institution, so we would like you to graduate in 4 years. And I think coming in, being that the expectation for me, there was a considerable amount of pressure not only to graduate in 4 years, but to make the best out of those 4 years. You come in, we do recommend that you do take the 15 credits that keeps you on track for graduation. And a great way to keep your head above water is to stay in touch with your academic advisor. So when you come in as a freshman, you will be given an academic advisor per your department, and or if you are not with a major declared yet, you will have a major for undeclared majors as well. With that, communication is very much necessary every semester in terms of creating your schedule and any adjustments that you might make to your schedule, including drops and or fails or incompletes. So with that being said, you really want to make sure you're communicating with your advisor every step of the way, that you're here to help you. Many times students come in, think that making their schedules is something that they can handle and end up getting off track within those 4 years. That is completely on you, given the fact that we do have a great team of advisors here to aid you with just that. Be in communication with your advisor and your department chair is also very much advised. Your department chair is someone who knows the department more than anyone else. They will know what courses have more rigor than others and when to take those courses that do offer a very rigorous curriculum. With that being said, communication with the advisor and the department chair is vital for graduating within that 4-year period.
And also, this is a one-off, but Marty, I'll let you take this, Wendell. How's the food at Morehouse? I guess they don't want to miss their home cooking, but how does Morehouse compare to home?
I'm from Louisiana, so
Okay.
my expectations are a little bit different. My taste buds are completely different. So this is what I say. People ask me how the food is here. There's a meal for everyone, but every meal is not for everyone. Our dining services does a really good job of providing various menu options. So there's not just one thing on the menu at every meal setting. And there's always the deli line, the pizza line, the burger line, always is open.
Mm-hmm.
And so days where I don't like what's on the hot line and the soul section of the cafeteria, I just opt to like grab a salad or grab something from the deli, like a sandwich or a wrap. Or I grab pizza or a turkey burger. We also have a grill option. So there's a Mongolian grill inside of our cafeteria. During lunch and dinner hours, we have stir fry. And during our breakfast hours, we have omelets and pancakes. So that's always there, and I'm typically satisfied with that. We also have a few other dining options on our campus. So when you come in, I know Dean Turner was alluding to earlier, part of your requirement when you live on campus is to have a meal plan. Even once you become an upperclassman, you are required to have a meal plan. The difference, however, is I'm not required to have an unlimited meal plan, which allows me to have more of what we call DCBs, or declining cash benefits. Those DCBs can be spent inside of Chick-fil-A on campus, or at our deli location here on campus, or our wing spot on campus, in addition to our Brewed Awakenings, which serves Starbucks products.
I have a couple questions. Daryl, you can answer this first one. It's in regards to the dual engineering program.
Mm-hmm.
It asks, for students doing a dual degree, is it guaranteed to get into the engineering school of choice given that the required GPA is maintained?
And so if the student maintains a certain GPA here at Morehouse,
Right.
and so typically to remain in the dual engineering program, then we would like for you to aim for a 3.0 or higher. A 3.0 or higher will be acceptable for all of the engineering schools that we partner with. So if you do maintain a 3.0, then you will be accepted into our partner engineering schools.
Another question for you, Daryl, is, are AP credits accepted as a waiver for some courses?
Yes, and so AP courses will be reviewed. You will need to take the AP exam, of course. Typically a 3 or higher on the AP exam will get you waived from courses. Typically those courses will be in your first 2 years, core courses. Our core courses, everyone takes these same courses, core courses, their first 2 years, and then they branch off into their majors. But you will be reviewed if you submit the results of your AP exams to be considered to have those courses waived when you matriculate here at Morehouse.
All right. For one of you gentlemen, either Alvin or Wendell can answer this. in regards to can you speak to the historical significance of having Dr. Mays be an alum and of the brotherhood aspect of Morehouse?
So firstly, Dr. Mays was not an alum. So he was the last president before Dr. Thomas, who's our current president, to actually not be an alum of Morehouse College. The historical connection there, I guess, would be that Mays brought in a lot of significant guys, such as Dr. King and Maynard Jackson. And he's probably like of like the previous presidents, he's probably the one who is most remembered. And that's because he internationalized the institution, bringing us our international students. He also like financially solidified Morehouse. He quadrupled the endowment while he was here. Mays was that president, as I tell all the time. He often visited the classrooms when he was president, and he and his wife both honestly gave us a general idea of what it was or what it is to be expected of the first family of Morehouse College. So they engage with students a lot. In so many ways, presidents since then have done the same thing. But the historical connection for me, actually, is one of the reasons that I am here, is because I went on a tour, and at the end, like I heard somebody say, "This is where you belong," and so I felt like this place was home based upon the history. And I knew that I wanted to be a part of the Morehouse history as well. So my congressperson from back home went to Morehouse, graduated in 1995. King has always been someone that I looked up to. So knowing that both from King back in the 40s, Cedric Laurel Richmond in the 90s, even coming into the 2000s, Beyonce's manager graduated from Morehouse College, right? So knowing there's this litany of great men who come from this place, like I knew that my name had to be on that roster as well.
Awesome. Another question is, will freshman students have access to tutors?
Yeah,
Most definitely.
all students.
Most definitely. Tutor is, our tutoring center is in our Frederick Douglass Student Center, which is a study hall that has pretty long hours, goes in pretty late to the night. I don't know those hours exactly, as they might have changed since I was a student, but it is where I did most of my studying. There is a tutor schedule. There's a tutor for every department, and some of them are professional students or professional tutors, and others are students as well. And those resources are available 7 days a week.
And those resources aren't just limited to freshmen. They're open to everyone on the campus. And I will say for me, like I actually learn better from students because they tend to be able to explain things in a language in which I'm able to understand a little bit more. So for example, Scope and Methods, which is a course I mentioned earlier. As a transfer student, I had to take that course, or I have to take the course. Our professor's amazing. He's really fast. And so sometimes like I'll miss something in class, and most of the learning that I get of like fully processing and fully understanding the information has come from a tutor inside of that center. So, and they have other things that they teach in there, such as study skills and academic planning, things of that sort. So Douglas Academic Resource Center is a great asset to our campus.
Yeah, I have a couple questions for you. The first one being, are dual credit courses recognized?
Yes, we do accept, and for those of you that are not aware of what dual credit courses are, when you're in high school, you take college level courses at the same time. Typically, those college level courses take place during your senior year. So we will, some students actually come to Morehouse with their associates already, that they've taken that many college level courses in high school. And so yes, we do recognize and accept those dual education courses.
You led right into the next question in regards to high school students who do have their associate's degree. When will it be determined how many of their credit hours will be accepted?
Well, with an associate's degree, the entire degree will be accepted in terms of if you obtain that degree from an accredited college or university. And so if you already have a degree, then you are just pursuing a bachelor's degree opposed to completing your first 2 years of study here on our campus.
So we, a good example that we actually have an ambassador who's on the team right now, who came in last year as a freshman when I transferred in. He'll be graduating this year. So Joseph actually did 2 years here at Morehouse. Will be graduating because of dual enrollment. He went to a college prep school in Texas. And so because of that, he's saving time, saving money, and getting the Morehouse experience as well. So.
And about, since you brought up student ambassador, there was a question earlier about student ambassadors. How can one become a student ambassador?
So just like every other student organization here on campus, during the spring semester, we'll open up our applications to the team. And from there, we review the applications, and then we decide whether the applicant will move forward in the process. So the next portion of the process, of course, would be an interview. And then there's actually 2 rounds of interviews, and from there, we select ambassadors. I just want to reiterate something that Dean Booker said earlier, and that is that freshmen should make academics their priority. I was that person in high school that was involved in literally every club except for 2. That's not the thing that you want to do coming into your first year of college. You want to make sure you're grounded and rooted academically. And even if you just take a semester off, I strongly encourage it. The reality is these organizations will be here. The opportunity to get involved and be active will be here. Once you get rid of a 4.0, you never get that back. So if you make that priority, then everything else will fall in line. And then again, once you do get involved in something, just choose like 1 or 2 things that you want to get involved to and give that thing your all.
That's a good point. Daryl, another question. A student wants to know if they haven't received their financial award letter, when should they expect to receive it?
So if they're already been notified that we've received the FAFSA and that it's just being processed, typically that process only takes about 2 weeks. As I indicated earlier, the only thing that I've seen that this year that has extended a student from being awarded financial aid will be that they were selected for verification, meaning that we need additional information, or they neglected to complete their financial aid application in a correct manner. And so typically about 2 weeks is what they can expect in order to receive financial aid. And also, Antonio, I had an email about giving some advice as to parents and students that are trying to determine how they're able to afford Morehouse, what options they can pursue in order to finding the finances to attend Morehouse. What I can say is, we talked about scholarships versus internal and external scholarships, meaning that do not discount the fact that scholarship dollars are out there. You just have to pursue those scholarship dollars. Applying for scholarships is a part-time job, so you have to do it every day. You have to be dedicated and diligent to doing that. And so for students who are saying, well, I'm just going to wait for Morehouse to give me the money that I'm going to need, or I'm going to wait for Morehouse to find the money for me. You can't do that. In terms of, you have to take control of your own destiny and get out there and really engage the process to find these scholarship dollars. Reach out to companies and corporations in your areas. We have very strong alumni networks all over the country, no matter if you're Chicago, LA, Kansas City, wherever you're at. We have a strong alumni association. Reach out to them. Our Glee Club, world-renowned Glee Club, travels the country every spring. A lot of the alumni associations, they use their visit, the Glee Club's visit to the city, as a fundraiser. And they utilize those for scholarships for students from their area. They kind of help them in terms of paying for matriculating at Morehouse. Also, parents, my best advice to you is, everybody has sticker shock when they initially hear of the cost of Morehouse. We do not apologize for the cost of Morehouse, because they say you can never pay enough for a Morehouse degree from what a Morehouse degree is going to provide a student. These current student and Kip, who just recently graduated, myself, I can tell you, for what I have gained in terms of income I've been able to have, or the opportunities, whether an alum was able to afford me opportunity or built that connection for me. You cannot pay enough for a Morehouse degree. And so parents, just understand the iceberg melts very quickly, that once you start to find these resources, once they find out that your son wants to come to Morehouse, typically they want to help you because they want to see your son come to Morehouse, and they want him to be a successful student, because they understand what a Morehouse degree can do for your child. Or the young men who have been accepted to Morehouse and you come to Morehouse, I want you to understand what this experience can do for you and how it can impact your life in terms of not only making you your character development here at Morehouse, but you get the intangibles here, meaning that you wouldn't get at another school. And so we take pride in really building you as a person, as a young African American male in many cases, or Hispanic male, or wherever you choose you are. We build that, and we understand that it's important that you understand your worth and that you meet your maximum potential, even if you don't realize it at this point. So I know that was a lot, right? But
I would also say, I know Dean D. Booker stated earlier, apply for UNCF scholarships.
yes.
We've spoken with the folks at UNCF, and a lot of their scholarships people don't apply for, right?
Yeah, that's
And
important.
I guess the bigger message is like, don't count yourself out for a scholarship. Because a lot of times people say, oh, they'll look at it and say, this is going to take me too long to apply, or there's probably 100 people applying for it. You never know how many people are applying for it. All that matters is really that you're applying for it. And if you're banking those resumes that you're using, the essays that you're using for UNCF and even other scholarships, you can recycle those and use them for other applications as well. I remember when I was in high school, I had a goal of applying for 5 scholarships per week. And when I graduated from high school, I had a significant amount of scholarship dollars. And so that practice is maybe something that you should also look at. Think about how many scholarships you're going to apply to per day, per week, but set out a plan and then fulfill that plan. Another thing is use our website. We have a list of external scholarships on our website. That list is actually the same list that I use for every school that I was looking at, right? Because they're external. They're not. Some of them are specific to Morehouse, but most of them are not. So print that list out. Highlight the ones that you think. I use a 3-tier system, so I highlight the ones that I knew that I was strongly able of getting. Then I had right under that I had a different color highlighted for those that I thought, yeah, maybe so. And then the third highlight color was like, this is a long shot. Some of them were for STEM majors, and I applied for them and got them, right? There was a Burger King scholarship I applied for. It's $1,000, right? I got a scholarship from Delta Sigma Theta. That was $1,000. Those $1,000 scholarships add up, and before you know it, you'll be at $48,000. So I definitely want to encourage you to make a plan, follow it, and don't count any scholarship out.
Yeah, that's it. Just remember that the iceberg melts very quickly. Once you start to obtain these dollars, you will be amazed how you could piece together $1,000 here, $5,000 scholarships here, and before you know, you have all the money that you would need in order to matriculate at Morehouse. Okay, so I would like for these gentlemen to just, in closing, what you like to convey to the students that are coming to Morehouse, their parents, etc. And I'd like you to do that, and then we'll close out the evening.
Yeah, so I really appreciate all of y'all's time tuning in with us today. From a professional standpoint, working for the institution and also being an alum, this is a place that is very near and dear to my heart. Upon my completion of a master's program at an institution that didn't necessarily cater to the Black male experience, it definitely highlighted how this experience was for me and how important it was for me. And that is kind of been my personal mission, to relay that narrative that there are not many places created for African-American males, and many places actually deter us from being there. And this is probably only one of the places in the world that caters to your experience, and not to deter going to any other institution after Morehouse, or maybe even doing that while you're here with the domestic exchange program. But just know that whatever institution that you go to, that is not their main focus, but this is ours here. So just keep that in mind, and how that kind of plays into your everyday experience, waking up, going to class, interacting with those individuals around you, how much that affects your personal development. Morehouse is invaluable for your personal development, and I truly believe that this is the place for all African-American men, and for all men, and they are looking for leadership qualities and to make a positive difference in the African-American male community and African-American community at large. So taking all that in, I really appreciate everyone for tuning in, and choose Morehouse.
So I'll just start off by saying, first of all, thank you for your time again, but welcome home. Those are some of the first words that were spoken to me when I arrived here on this campus, and those words still ring true today. This place will be your home for the next 4 years or less. This is a place that was created specifically for you, and the only place, the only institution in the world that has this one specific mission of developing men with disciplined minds who will lead lives of leadership and service. So welcome to the fold of becoming the world's best public servant leaders that are known to mankind. And we're always here, we're always available. You can reach me via our SGA account, sga@morehouse.edu, and also on social media at Morehouse SGA or Morehouse College SGA. And we'll be more than willing to filter any questions that you have.
Okay, well, I would like to definitely thank you for joining us today and fielding your questions. As I indicated earlier, that you had great questions, and I can really tell that you've done research in your college and that you were inquiring about the benefits of attending Morehouse and what the Morehouse could do for you because you're really interested in the college. And I would like to say that if you have been admitted to Morehouse, especially this year, we have a very, very strong class, the stellar class. That if you've been admitted this year, that I want to congratulate you, and that we want you to be here because we understand what you can bring to our environment, what Morehouse can do for you. It's a partnership. And it's with your parents, it's with you, it's with the staff, the faculty here at Morehouse. It's all about you, what you can do, how you can achieve your goals, and how we can help you to be a successful career person or whatever you choose to do after Morehouse, whether it's graduate school, pursue your career, etc. I want you to understand that we want you to be here. That's why we admitted you here. And if we admitted you here, you need to understand that we have determined that you have the ability to graduate from Morehouse in 4 years. And so I do hope that this was able to provide you with more insight into Morehouse and help you to solidify your decision to attend the college. Once again, the acceptance fee is due on May 1st, which is in about a week and a half or so. It's coming up shortly. And once again, if you have not received your credentials in order to make your acceptance fee online, then send me an email, Darryl, D-A-R-R-Y-L, .isom, I-S-O-M, @morehouse.edu, and indicate to me your full name and your birth date. And as long as you have submitted a FAFSA, I will be able to obtain your Morehouse number or your student number. And then I'll be able to provide you with that. And if you just can put that on a check or a money order in the memo section, your name and your Morehouse number, we can accept that via the mail. I just need an email also from you indicating that you are going to put that payment in the mail. In case it arrives after May 1st, we'll know that you have sent that to us and that we can expect that so that we will be able to hold your seat in the class. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to call me, the Office of Admissions, our Compass Center, which is our phone center for all students, either current students or incoming students that have questions about the school, admissions, financial aid, etc. We're glad to vet your questions there. And we're always here to help. I hope you were able to see by this panel the passion and the dedication that our staff, faculty, individuals that are involved with interacting with you as a student every day. And it's important that you understand that we want you to be here, that we're concerned about you and your well-being, and that we're going to take as much pride in you and care of you as your parents would at home. You have a new family. And so we like to say, as Wendell said earlier, welcome home. We want you to, even though you're leaving your home, we want you to know that you will have a home here at Morehouse, a new family that you will only grow to love and respect, and it will only be a beneficial moment in time for you as you progress through Morehouse and go on to a fulfilling life. So thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in August for new student orientation, and have a good evening.